25-minute train ride from Shin-Yokohama to Sakuragicho Station. I arrived right next to Yokohama Bay. The hotel's just a few minutes walk from the station, so I left my bags with them, intending to check in later, as it's only 1 o'clock local time. Then I headed out to see what I could see. The first thing I discovered was the sail training ship Nippon Maru, constructed in 1930 and retired in 1984. Tours are available, but I was on my way to another tour nearby, so I grabbed a quick drink, passed by a few local sites, including this Harry Potter specialty shop with lots of official goods and several themed areas. I was headed for the Cup Noodles Museum. I grabbed a ticket for the museum and for the My Cup Noodles factory experience and headed in. The museum holds examples of the types and styles of cup noodles through the years. There's also exhibits showing the history and milestones of cup noodle, including such things as the first space ramen. Created post-World War II to help with the food crisis, not only did Momofuku Ando create cup noodle, but was the first to insist on manufacturer dating on his products to avoid quality issues. At this point, I headed over to my cup noodle experience to make my own custom cup noodle. You can color and doodle all you like to personalize it, but they insist that you put a date on it when you create the cup. Then it's time to head over and create your own cup noodle. You're able to pick your soup flavor and then add 4 different items. I chose curry, pork, garlic, onion, and potato.
Right? Kore? Kore?
You can hear me saying kore, meaning this, while pointing out the different items to be added. Now it's time to head down and top and wrap your cup. First is the machine that puts the lid on your cup. Then once sealed, it's time to wrap and then shrink the wrap for the finished product. Additionally, you get a bag that inflates to protect your cup noodles for your travels. After one last selfie with Momofuku Ando, then I headed off to the nearby shopping center with lots of food and the Yokohama Air Cabin. If you couldn't decide which KitKat to take home with you before, this store lets you mix and match by the basketful. As you may have noticed before, I couldn't help but try a Japanese sweet grape, which I enjoyed thoroughly. At this point, it was time to check in at the hotel, so I grabbed the Yokohama Air Cabin to get back nearby. Well, made it to Yokohama, so figured I might as well gonna try the Yokohama Air Cabin. Opened in 2021, the Air Cabin connects Yokohama Cosmo World, the amusement park, to Sakuragicho Station. Only takes about 5 minutes. This room came with lots of space compared to some of the business hotels I've used, and it also had a great view of the city. Now, you may think it's weird to go for French cuisine in Japan, but for me it's no stranger than going for it in the US. The cafe had a classic Parisian style and a great view of the bay. I settled on quiche and French onion soup and a glass of hibiki, or perhaps two, to toast one heck of a trip. The key scene is how you get your bill by just taking it up to the register. I decided to take an after-dinner walk and stop by the Hard Rock to grab a souvenir hat. Then it was back to the hotel and one last look at the bay lit up at night. After a good night's sleep, I had a few hours to explore Yokohama before heading to Narita. The local art museum had a new artist exhibition. Unfortunately, not much photography was permitted. Next, I headed to Iseyama Kotaijingu, a hilltop Shinto shrine and a wedding venue. The ceremony was just finishing, and the formal dress was very traditional and striking. Out of respect, I simply offered "Omedetou gozaimasu," or congratulations, but I refrained from trying to take any pictures of them or their event. It was close to lunchtime, so I stopped at a Tsukemen restaurant. Tsukemen means dipping noodles, and the noodles and broth are served separately. On the KQ line to Haneda. I decided to stay at a location attached to the airport to avoid any need to travel there early morning, when the trains are typically quite full. On the way to the hotel, I passed tons of stylish shops with lots of last-minute souvenirs. It was easy to find my way and get checked in. The room itself was just right for my purposes. I decided to head out and wander Haneda Airport Garden, a collection of shops and restaurants, including a Studio Ghibli shop. Realizing I hadn't tried a Japanese hamburger yet, I decided to grab a teriyaki moss burger and fries with a melon soda. It was good, but I'll admit I didn't expect how much I'd enjoy the melon soda. One last good snooze in Japan, and it was up early to catch my flight. Well, I'm gonna leave Japan behind and head home. Did that guy look a bit disappointed? Well, honestly, I was missing my family, and it was time for this adventure to wrap. I grabbed what seemed to be my go-to breakfast for this trip, an onigiri, and headed for my gate. There was plenty of time to grab one last souvenir and then board my flight. This JAL flight had access to external cameras for you to choose from to observe the departure. Apologies for the shaky camera work, but those takeoffs can be just a little bouncy. All I can say is arigatou gozaimasu and mata ne. Thank you and see you later to Japan. I hope to get back soon. The food and drink throughout the flight was very good. And soon enough, I was back in my home state. I'm hoping you enjoyed this series of my solo Japan travels. If so, leave a like and subscribe if you can, and comment that you'd like to see more. I'm returning to Japan to see multiple new places, and I'd be glad to share. So just remember, it's a big world. Go see it. Thanks for watching.